I sat there, just inches away from betrayal, watching them laugh and whisper. They thought I didn't know, but I was about to make them face the truth. My name is Nina Wilder, and I never thought I'd find myself in the position I am today. You see, betrayal isn't something that happens to other people. Or at least, I used to think that way. But here I am, sitting in my Brooklyn loft, in the quiet, thinking back to the night everything changed. It all started innocently enough, with nothing more than a cup of chamomile tea and some design sketches spread across my desk. I was in the midst of working on a new collection, trying to capture the essence of what I wanted to represent next. And in the background, the mundane hum of my life continued on until the moment it all stopped. I had always been a designer with a sharp eye, focused on the finer details of life. I prided myself on keeping my personal and professional lives separate, something that was easier said than done, living in a city like New York. But that night, I crossed a line I never intended to cross. It wasn't much, just a text message. But in hindsight, I should have never looked. That's the thing about curiosity, it's almost always a precursor to heartbreak. I wasn't snooping, no. But the phone on the counter pinged. It was his phone, Caden Brooks, my fiancé, the man I thought I was going to marry. A text came in from Elena, my sister. I didn't think much of it at first. I mean, they were close, so I assumed it was just another dinner plan. They shared a lot of the same interests, and honestly, I didn't see any harm in it. That was until I read the words, private booth. The Mosaic. Friday night. She'll love it. The Mosaic. That's where Caden and I had celebrated our anniversary just last year. A romantic place, just for us. We'd shared our first dinner there, our first conversation about the future. I had never imagined I'd be reading those words in the context of my sister and my fiancé. The pit in my stomach grew as I read further, and my mind started to race. It wasn't just dinner plans. They had been spending time together behind my back. I couldn't process it at first. I thought it was just a misunderstanding, but the more I looked, the more the pieces fell into place. There were photos. Photos of Elena wearing my dress, the one I had designed for my engagement photo shoot. The one I had trusted her with for a charity event. Now she wore it like a trophy, like a symbol of the life she was trying to take. I stared at the photo for what felt like an eternity. Elena, my own sister, smiling in my dress, wearing it as if it were hers. And there was Caden in the background, smiling like he didn't have a care in the world. It wasn't just a betrayal of love, it was a betrayal of trust. Of everything I had worked for. My heart sank. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, cold and numb. I placed the phone back where I found it. But nothing would ever be the same again. I had trusted these people with everything. I thought we were family. But the truth, as painful as it was right in front of me. And I wasn't going to let them get away with it. After the initial shock faded, a different feeling settled in. I wasn't angry. Not yet. What I felt was something far more dangerous, clarity. The clarity that I was no longer the victim. This wasn't just a betrayal of love, this was a moment that could define the rest of my life. I didn't need to act out of anger. No, this was going to be a methodical, calculated response. I've always been someone who takes my time to think things through. That's why my fashion career has been successful. I know the value of precision. Now, I was going to apply that precision to my personal life. I had to make them feel the weight of their actions without a single outburst. I called Ryan Stone, my ex-boyfriend and best friend. Ryan had always been there for me when things got tough, and tonight was no different. I need your help, I said, my voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. I need you to help me make them face what they've done. Ryan didn't hesitate. I'm in. Just tell me how to help. I already knew how to handle the situation. I didn't want to confront them immediately. No, I wanted them to know I was in control of the situation. I reserved a table at the Mosaic for Friday night, not far from theirs. I wasn't going to create a scene. I didn't need to. I just wanted them to feel my presence, to feel the weight of what they had stolen from me. Ryan and I spent the next few days preparing. I gathered evidence of the betrayal, messages, photos, financial transactions that connected Elena's and Caden's actions. I wanted them to feel exposed, but more importantly, I wanted them to realize I wasn't going to be the victim anymore. On the night of the dinner, I dressed deliberately. A simple black dress, nothing flashy, but strong. It wasn't the kind of dress I would normally wear, but tonight, it was perfect. I wanted to show them that I was still here, that they hadn't destroyed me. As the evening unfolded, I watched them from a distance, Caden and Elena sitting together in their private booth. They smiled, whispered to each other, and exchanged looks like they were in their own little world. I didn't react, not yet. I just let them carry on, oblivious to the storm I was about to unleash. The moment I'd been preparing for had finally arrived. Ryan and I walked into the mosaic, as if we were just another couple enjoying a quiet night out. We were led to our table, which, by sheer coincidence, was just a few feet away from theirs. I could see Caden already looking around nervously. He hadn't spotted me yet. Elena, however, noticed me first. Her smile faltered for just a split second, but it was enough. She knew. She knew I was there, and everything she had been hiding was about to come crashing down. I stood up from my seat and walked over to their table. I didn't rush. I didn't make any dramatic gestures. I just walked. Ryan followed me silently, his presence a silent support. When I reached their booth, I stopped. Caden looked up and froze. Elena's eyes widened, and for the first time in what felt like forever, she couldn't look me in the eye. "Caden," I said calmly, "I believe you remember Ryan." Ryan nodded politely, but his eyes were cold, calculating. He didn't need to say anything. I turned to Elena. "And you?" I continued. "You remember everything, don't you?" For a long moment, no one spoke. The silence between us was thick and suffocating. Caden finally opened his mouth, but his voice trembled. "It's not what you think." I interrupted him softly. "Don't rewrite the timeline for my comfort." Elena shifted uncomfortably in her seat. "This isn't about betrayal," she said, her voice tight. "It's about a connection we couldn't ignore. It just happened." I tilted my head, looking at her. "A connection? Is that what you call forwarding him the restaurant reservation I made for our anniversary?" Caden and Elena both shifted, clearly uncomfortable under my gaze. They had no excuses left. What happened next was the culmination of everything I had been working towards. I didn't need to yell or scream. I just needed to be heard. I had already gathered everything I needed, the texts, the photos, and the proof of their theft of my designs. In the days that followed, I filed legal claims against both Elena and Caden. They had stolen from me in every sense of the word, my love, my trust, and my career. I wasn't going to let them get away with it. I wasn't just going to settle for being the victim. It wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming what was mine. The designs Elena had stolen from me were rightfully mine again. Caden's reputation crumbled, and Elena was forced to face the consequences of her actions. But the most important thing? I regained control of my life. I had taken the steps to heal, to rise above their lies, and to rebuild what they had tried to destroy. At the grand opening of my new collection, I stood on stage, microphone in hand, with Ryan beside me. It wasn't just about the fashion, it was about the power of reclaiming my story. As the crowd clapped, I realized one thing: I wasn't just surviving, I was thriving. What do you think about this story? Do you feel the weight of betrayal and the triumph of reclaiming control, or maybe you saw something more? I'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections. Drop a comment below with your insights. Your feedback means so much, and don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more stories that'll inspire, challenge, and make you reflect. Thank you for sticking with me until the end. I appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, remember, it's not about what's taken from you, it's about what you choose to reclaim.